in his hands. That is a traveling violation. Mendy Rudolph would call it travel. No basket. Milwaukee ball. And listen, I understand it gets in the way of a good story. It gets in the way of drama. Yeah. We have Stephen A. commenting. The great Windhorst. Yeah. Wow, look at this. Yeah. Guys, take a look. He ran with the ball to the spot. That is a travel. Come on. Okay. Pay attention.
Stephen A., what do you say to that?
Well, listen, Donkey has an argument, but the fact of the matter is people are going to accuse him of being a bit archaic because when you see the step back three, the side step three, etc., you know, a lot of people that said, where the hell did that come from? Back in the day, that would have been called the travel, too. So you look at it from that standpoint, I get where he's coming from. Excuse me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that in today's generation that call is going to be made. That's number one. Number two, there's a more important point to be made here. The Indiana Pacers are tied with the Milwaukee Bucks, you know, for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. This is the same Indiana Pacers team that took out the New York Knicks in last year's playoffs. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Keep on the lookout for them. They could be a threat because they could put up points.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, one question here. Speaking of the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers on a tear, winning 15 straight for the second time this season after beating the Nets without Donovan Mitchell. But getting a boost from Darius Garland, who scored 18 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, a potential finals preview tonight on ESPN. The West leading OKC Thunder travel to Boston to face the defending champion Celtics, who are seeking their 6th straight win as they currently comfortably sit at 2nd in the East. Mad Dog, how much belief do you have in the 1 seeds when we're talking about OKC and Cleveland?
I think this is a fascinating story here in the NBA. Not only are they 1 seeds, they're 1 seeds by 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, Cleveland's 55-10. I'll let Brian handle that in a minute. And they got Oklahoma City, which I watched the last 2 games against Denver.
Yeah.
Saw both. I mean, Oklahoma City is an excellent team where they got 12 losses. I mean, these teams are running away and hiding with the best records. And I think right now, if I had to make a decision about who I think would be in the final, I would go Boston and maybe Denver. I don't know if I take OKC. Last year, they had a lot of trouble offensively against Dallas. They lost in 6 games. They could not score in big situations with the season on the line in Dallas. They had no other place to go but SGA. And Cleveland, yes, they had a great win in Boston 2 weeks ago, down 25-3. I understand that. They won the game on the road. That's a hell of a win for them. I don't trust Cleveland in a 7-game series. So I'm going to say to Brian and Steve that I'd like not to go to the NBA final, which is rare about a 1 seed. I'm going to take the Celtics and the Nuggets.
Stephen A., I don't mean to have to be the guy who is defending Oklahoma City day in and day out on this program. I'm not even like arguing that they are a lock or that they are one of the great teams of the last decade. But my God, is there an incredible amount of disrespect for this team. And Mad Dog, it's not just you. I hear it every day. I hear it implicitly from other people I talk to in the league. I hear it implicitly from players out there who are like, yeah, we'll be all fine on the same side of the bracket as Oklahoma City. They just don't respect them. And I go, why? This team, now look, they're not a perfect team. And if you want to create a case for why they do have flaws. And they got a problem tonight because Jalen Williams, their second leading scorer, is out. And I think the Celtics are just going to double team Shea when it matters. But this team is awesome. They defend. They dominate on that end of the court. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is absolutely one of the most efficient scorers we've seen in this era. I mean, this guy scores 30 points without breaking a sweat, and he does it every single night. He leads the league in free throws. He scores when he can rest. He scores, without using a lot of energy, so he's always got energy in the fourth quarters of these games. They have length. They have depth. They have size. They have matchup versatility. They can switch on all the wings. This team is absolutely capable of winning a championship. Now, I get it. They're the youngest team in the league, and you look at any league in any sport, you're never going to respect the youngest team. I'm not expecting the people to cower from them. But my gosh, I can't believe how little respect there is paid to a team that had 57 wins last year and is on the way to 65, 67 wins this year.
Brian Windhorst, I get your argument. I understand where you're coming from. I don't think you're wrong. But I can't believe you. You can't believe everybody else. I can't believe you. All you do is walk around talking about Oklahoma City, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma City. Every single day you come on this show, every single day you go on every other show, you come to the defense of Oklahoma City. I don't blame you. Hold on. You don't have to. And here's why. Because they don't even have the best record in basketball. That would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. You talk about OKC more than you talk about Cleveland. Cleveland's 55-10. Cleveland's the one that's won 84% of their games. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers that started out the season 15-0. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers who are on a current 15-game winning streak. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers that in December into January had a 12-game winning streak. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers that got their own superstar, and he is a superstar, and Donovan Mitchell. It's Darius Garland who's resurrected his career. It's Evan Mobley who's arisen and has ascended. It's DeAndre Hunter that has shown up, and since he has been in the Cleveland Cavaliers uniform, doggy, the Cleveland Cavaliers are undefeated since this brother arrived. 6'8", wingman defender who can hit threes and give you 18 to 19 a game. They've got size. They've got rebounding. They've got shot blocking ability. They've got athleticism. They defend, and they have a dynamic duo at the guard spot, and they got about 10 different dudes averaging at least 19 minutes a game. But we ain't bringing that up. So maybe, just maybe, Wendy, maybe people ain't talking about Oklahoma City as much as you would like, to the degree that you would like them to be talked about, because the great Brian Windhorst is forgetting that those dudes in the East, even though Boston is standing in their way, and that's likely why you don't mention them more, they did split with Boston this year too. They did beat them twice, and oh, by the way, their record is the best on the road. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and they're saying what you're saying about OKC, others are looking at you and saying, where's the same energy when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers? OKC is no joke, no doubt. OKC can ball. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is my league MVP, assuming he continues to do what he's been doing all season long. But that brother Jalen Williams, who is special talent, brother can ball, got mad love for him. The inconsistencies have got to stop. Being on Gil's Arena yesterday, taping that show with them, they made valid points when they talked about how, can you trust him to show up consistently in a 7-game series and give you 23 a night, because you're going to need it going up against the West. We know what Shea Butter, as Malika Andrews likes to call him, we know what he's going to bring to the table. Who's going to help him on offense? We can't have him inconsistent. That's Oklahoma City is a question mark, because they have yet to have somebody who's proven they can show up on a night in, night out basis and augment what Shai Gilgeous brings to the table. We believe that by committee, Cleveland can do that. Even though OKC is number one in practically every statistical defensive category, somebody's got to step up and help Shai, because there's more parity in the Western Conference than there is in the East. But you still shouldn't be ignoring Cleveland.
Molly, you know how Stephen A. talks wistfully about the idea of like a Miami Lakers finals?
Yeah, for the last decade.
My Miami Lakers finals would be Cleveland LeBron. It would be the chance of my career to cover LeBron going up against the Cavs. A Lakers, LeBron going for his 5th championship, going up against his hometown team, a team that I've written multiple books about and lived there for many years and covered. That would be my dream. And yet I must look at you and say that I've got Oklahoma City and Boston going to the finals. And that's because it's not a disrespect of Cleveland. It's a respect of Boston. I think what the Cavs are doing is fabulous. One of the things that's so impressive, I'm going to give them back their last 20 games, guys. They've won 19 of 20. And in those 19 wins, they've had 7 different guys lead them in scoring. I mean, they have the versatility and the tools and the weapons to make a long playoff run. Like, they're built for it. I respect them immensely. I just